Here's a list of the guest characters that I think could appear in Tekken 8. Now I'm sure the reason for me doing this video is pretty obvious, but with Eddie being confirmed to be the first DLC character of this game, I figured it'd be a good idea to get this video done before we get any more DLC characters announced. Yes, that's further along down the road, but still. Now if I actually already made a DLC wishlist vid, and this is the thumbnail right here for it if you want to go check it out, but that didn't include guest characters. That was just for returning characters to the series. And while returning characters are great, don't get me wrong, guest characters are really what get fans' heads spinning. Perhaps it's a character from another one of your favorite game series, like Street Fighter. Actually, that's a terrible example. We don't talk about Akuma. That man is a menace. From games like Street Fighter, from all the way to Final Fantasy, and even characters that aren't from video games at all, like Negan from The Walking Dead. So here's my list of 5 guest characters that I think would be cool to add to Tekken 8. Mind you, this isn't going in any particular order. And starting off strong, we have number 5, Solid Snake. Now, even if you haven't played Metal Gear, I'm sure you've heard of it. Starring its main character, Snake. Just an absolute Chad. Look at this man. I've personally only played 2 Metal Gear games myself, but I've heard nothing but good things about them. I mean, who wouldn't want to be a spy infiltrating an enemy base? And not to mention, there's not just some set way to do it. The most recent video I saw, I believe, was from Metal Gear 5, and there's just so much freedom that's given to the player to decide how they want to complete a certain mission. As long as the objective gets done, it doesn't matter how. Plus, even if you don't play the Metal Gear games, I'm sure you've seen Snake from Smash Bros. At one point, he was actually my main. I just love the way that they used his arsenal. Not only did he use his fist and his feet, but dude pulls out grenade launchers. Now, should he do that if he joins Tekken? Probably not. But you can't tell me that he wouldn't be a good fit for a 3D fighting game. If you're wondering how he would play, I feel like Dragunov would represent him the best. I don't know if the chances of him joining are lower since he's already in Super Smash Bros, but who knows? I think he'd be a great character to pick. Next up, we have Ryu Hayabusa. And if you've played any Dead or Alive game, you know who this character is. But Ryu is one of the best ninjas out there. And although I've only played the original Ninja Gaiden game, which is nothing like the more recent games, I don't know why, but Ryu's always stuck with me as a character. First off, his outfit is boss. And I think a huge advantage here is the fact that he is in Dead or Alive, which is already a 3D fighting game. So they could already have a blueprint for his moveset if they wanted. Plus, a special intro with Raven would be pretty sick, considering they're both ninjas. Or maybe he could play a little bit more like Yoshimitsu if he used his sword. I would like to get more into the Ninja Gaiden series at some point, but it seems kinda too bloody for my taste. After him, we have number 3, Kazuma Kiryu. Kazuma Kiryu. Kiryu? Hopefully I'm saying it right. Now, I'm sure you all know who this is if you've ever played Yakuza or even seen Yakuza. At one point, I think it was even a big meme. But the Yakuza games are known for their goofiness and epic combat. And I think his animation art style would fit perfectly in the Tekken universe. Not to mention, he's a great fighter, using his fists and powers to the best of his abilities, taking on hordes of enemies. So I do think he could go toe-to-toe with some of Tekken's best. Also, I did some research and found out he has an orphanage. So hey, him and King have that in common. But you can't tell me that fans wouldn't lose their minds if he joined this game. Also, with his facial features, he kind of just reminds me of Fang. I don't know, maybe not. Now we move on to number 2, Dante. Listen, I had 2 characters that I wanted in Smash, Sora and Dante. Dante was more of a toss-up, Sora was who I really wanted. And thank you, God, we got him. Now, if you don't know who Dante is, have you been living under a rock? No, I'm kidding. Dante is from the Devil May Cry series, and while I've never played a game myself, you can't deny Dante's popularity. Not to mention, he's just an interesting character, and he has some pretty sick weapons. And he's already been in a fighting game before, which is Marvel vs. Capcom. While that isn't a 3D fighting game, it could still give Harada some ideas for his moves. And you can't tell me that him, Jin, and Kazuya wouldn't have some sort of interaction, since they have somewhat of demonic powers, I guess you could say. I guess the only thing they'd have to adjust with is him fighting with his sword and guns, but look at Yoshimitsu and Nina. As far as I'm concerned, this is an absolute win, because Dante's got the best of both worlds. So I think his addition to Tekken 8 would be really solid. And that leaves us to number 1. Now, these past 4 have all been video game characters, but you guys remember when those expectations were shattered when Negan joined Tekken 7, since he's not a video game character. And that's why my final character is none other than Walker Texas Ranger. That's right, Chuck Norris. Not gonna lie, that sounded stupid coming out of my mouth. Okay, give me a second, because I realized while I was editing this that you all were just gonna destroy me in the comments saying, Mike, Paul Phoenix literally exists. And yes, Paul does resemble Chuck Norris. They both use judo, I understand that. But that's why I said Walker Texas Ranger, because that character who's played by Chuck Norris definitely uses more of a karate type style. It's a lot more flashy. Paul's kind of just straight to the point, here's a punch, here's an elbow hit, which I understand. So I think they could make it to where the characters are different enough, and I think it could work because they can make him more of a grounded character, not jumping 3,000 feet in the air for a certain attack. You know what I mean? A little bit more realistic. But I just wanted to clarify and get that out of the way before y'all start destroying me in the comments. Alright, we can resume now. But you can't tell me that you wouldn't want Bruce Lee versus Chuck Norris in Tekken 8. Not to mention, if Lei Wulong comes back, we get Jackie Chan. 3 legends, bro. This feels like it would honestly be more of a Mortal Kombat DLC, because Mortal Kombat handles real people really well when they put them in their games. But Walker Texas Ranger was never overly violent. It was just a few punches and 360 round kicks in slow motion, and the bad guy was done for. Could it work? I think it could. Is it stupid? Yes. But again, we're talking about a game with pandas, space samurai ninjas, and a father and son who have devil powers, and all the other wacky characters that are in this game. So what do you guys think of this list? Yes, no, maybe? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to talk to me personally, feel free to join my Discord, which is in the video's description. And don't forget, I stream Tekken 8 with viewers every Tuesday. But that is going to do it for me today, guys. Thank you for watching the video all the way through, and as always, you'll see me next time.